We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. It's our final segment with Barbara McGinnis, elder care attorney. We can take a call or two if you have one, 737-7587, if you'd like to join in the conversation. As we were just talking about wills, power of attorney, estate planning, and the like. And Barbara, if there's one significant mistake that people make on wills, what would you say is the biggest one, the one that's made most often? Mistakes. Not
Mistakes
being
that people
thorough enough, not being clear, being too vague.
There have been some mistakes that I've seen. If you name a minor child to be a beneficiary in a will, you need to plan for who and how are those assets going to be held, because usually we're talking about then assets being held in trust for the minor child. So a plan for that, a subsequent plan for, what if your children predecease you? Do you want their children to receive? Do you want money to only go to living children or to all children in equal shares? Another mistake that people make in today's world is that they do not include a plan for their digital assets. And digital assets can be many, many things. It's not just Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It can be your online photo storage, how your photos are stored online. It can be your social media accounts. It can be websites or video accounts that you own. And some things that are digital, you actually own. Say you have a PayPal account. So the PayPal account has money in it. Well, you actually own that, and you can transfer that via your will or trust. If you have Netflix or you have an Amazon book account, audiobook account, you're leasing the right to use. You don't own those movies or own those books. You can't transfer that. So knowing what you own that is digital and knowing what you lease, even things that you lease though, your executor or trustee needs access to so they can manage your Dropbox, your Google account, your Facebook account. A lot of times pictures can be very sentimental, and they can be stored all in a variety of ways. So you may have printed pictures.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, you just said a couple real quick. I mean, so does that mean you can will to someone your Instagram account or your Facebook page, or is it the content of it? I mean, I know Facebook still owns what you're on, but I mean, if you've cultivated, like I have, a lot of followers, can you will that to someone?
No.
Okay.
You give them permission to access your account.
I see.
They could retrieve pictures. They could retrieve the videos. And then you tell them, I want this account deleted or I want the account memorialized. They just need a plan for that. So you might maybe you have like a lot of frequent flyer miles or hotel points. You may be able to will those to some people. You need to refer to the terms of the agreement, but you may be able to transfer those to your spouse, particularly. Online gaming is becoming real popular. Like the Caesar and DraftKings. Well, you might have money on account, and that's transferable. But the secret, really, for all of your digital assets, owned or leased, is you need to, one, identify what you have, keep a list, an inventory like you would any other asset. But because they're online and probably only exist there, you need the passwords, the username. Is there security questions? What are those answers? So you're giving your trusted advisor, either your trustee, executor, or maybe your power of attorney, authority to help manage those assets. And so that authority needs to be explicit in your document. And then they need the digital asset inventory so they know how to access it. Even things like, because a lot of our assets are on our phone, and our phones have passwords. How do I get into your phone? And what if you have biometric identification set up? How am I going to manage that? because all of this could be private information. Maybe you just want your Google account deleted.
Sure.
There might not be things you want your wife to see. And you have a digital executor that would just go in and delete it. Or some of your email accounts. Again, you can't transfer the email account to someone else. However, you want someone that could access it. Maybe that's how you get bill notifications or payment processing information, and you want someone to be able to access that. It's really an planned for piece of someone's estate now, and more young people.
That is so interesting. We should do a much more longer segment on the show. We're just up against it on this very thing. I mean, you've just opened up a whole can of worms for me, thinking about so much, especially now. I don't invest. We just recently did a program on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and I'm learning about it. But I mean, when you leave things, money and assets like that, properties, what's in the bank, that's one thing. But I wonder, I mean, people, I imagine, have you had some families that have actually had inheritances that are written into wills that involve cryptocurrency, things like Bitcoin? And I guess it's super important, since it's not tangible coin you're holding, that all of those passwords are involved. You don't have those, and that money takes off into the ether.
So I have had clients that own cryptocurrency and have drafted their wills for them and helped them do their digital asset inventory. Now, I've not had anyone pass away yet that owns cryptocurrency, but it will be coming, because more and more middle age, our age, and younger people do own these sorts of assets, even non-fungible tokens. And what does it mean, and how do you transfer it? And we are so programmed to think that all of our passwords and security questions, all that super secret, and it's all stored in some password keeper on your phone. It probably isn't all stored there, because you do some things on your phone, you do some things on your laptop, and taking the time to pull it all together will really save your surviving loved ones a lot of headache in how to control your private information and your owned assets.
Yeah, that's great advice. I'm going to think about this. I know we have to be very cautious because of identity theft, but having easy access, because so much is digitally, that is obviously a huge growing segment of exactly what you do. It's fascinating. Listen, we have time to squeeze in one more phone call from Mary. Mary, good morning. Hi, Mary.
Yes.
Hey, what's your question? Go ahead.
I'm 82 years old. My husband passed away 5 years ago, and his name is still on the deed to our house. Do I need to get his name taken off the deed?
Okay, we'll answer that for you. We just have about a minute and a half. Go ahead, Barbara.
No, ma'am, it's fine. You need your death certificate. If you wanted to sell your home, you as the surviving joint tenant could sell your home and prove that your husband had passed away and it is solely yours. You don't have to have a new deed. If you plan on living there until you pass away, your children or your named heirs will still inherit your home.
Okay, and that's a relief for her. So she's thinking, passed away, the name's still on there. When her husband passed, it automatically transfers to her. She's his wife. She lives in the house. That's hers, and she doesn't have to worry about doing anything.
It's really, she was the co-owner on that property.
The co-owner on that. Would that apply to other properties as well, say an automobile perhaps, something like that?
Automobiles are interesting. They're tangible property, so you can co-own. And so, again, the surviving owner would own individually at that point in time. But transferring title of a vehicle, there's actually an affidavit that you can fill out at the county clerk's office to transfer title of a vehicle.
Okay, and if he had a bank account just in his name?
If he has a bank account just in his name, then you would look towards is there a payable on death designation on the account? But if it's just in his name and there's no POD on the account, that is potentially a probate asset.
Gotcha. Probate, meaning it ends up in court. Blah. Barbara, if I had to go to court, there's no one I'd rather have by my side than you. Don't tell Tim I said that. He will be furious.
No, he sends me anyway.
Okay. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us today. It's really nice to see you, and I appreciate the conversation. Listen, you take care and tell everyone there I said hi, all right?
Will do. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Barbara. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have a contact information on how you can reach Takis and McGinnis, and we'll tell you about what's happening tomorrow right after this. Stay with us.